Okay, so I do have another video to record. This may be my last one today, unless anything else strange happens. Okay, so I've thought about doing this video for some time, but I've hesitated. But I'm going to say some things here. The title of this is, Who Do I Believe About Health? And this is a very important topic to me. Something I've thought about for the longest time, and I hope that I say this right. But who? Okay, that's nice. I'm recording a video right now. Okay. Okay, so, yeah, okay. So the topic was, at least I remember, it was, who do I believe about health? Okay, so now people, they all have their opinions on what's healthy or unhealthy. As I mentioned in that one video I mentioned, about rude people at lunch. People always want to comment on how healthy things are or not that I'm eating or not. And they say all kinds of things like that chicken is healthy for you, which I know is not true. In fact, people recognize that and the reason chicken is part of, this is covered even in food handling stuff, that, poultry actually has more diseases. You have to keep it separate from other meat. This is something I had to learn, both when I worked in the coffee bar and I recently did a food handler training online on the Hy-Vee website. Okay, so anyway, but the thing is, people say things. People believe all kinds of lies about health. Like, they believe that they need meat and dairy and eggs for protein, and stuff like that. Of course, I could go on and on about explaining why veganism is healthier than the standard American diet, which is actually not even controversial anymore. I think even like the World Health Organization or somebody, like, there have actually been official organizations that know that vegetarian and vegan diets are healthier for people and prevent or cure diseases, and help people lose weight. I mean, this is true stuff, and anybody who denies it is either ignorant about something or they have something to sell you. I mean, the dairy industry, they're not going to tell you that milk is not healthy for you. They're not going to tell you that. And they're not going to tell you what they do to the animals either, because they have a product to sell, and they will say anything they want to sell you that product. So they'll tell you that, good cheese comes from happy cows, and happy cows come from California, But companies who have a product to sell will say anything to sell you that product. Whereas I don't have anything to sell you, okay? Unless you're a customer at Hy-Vee while I'm working, okay? But anyway, when it comes to health, there are a number of things people do. I mean, they might ask their doctor, but their doctor could be wrong. They are just a human just like them, and there could be information they don't have. There are doctors that tell people to eat, that they have to eat certain animal products. And those doctors, they're wrong, of course. But second of all, doctors do not receive training in nutrition. Like, they're required to do only 8 hours in however many years they go to medical school. Like, that's what we found out. My mom's read some very interesting books on that topic. But doctors, they're not trained in nutrition and health and diet. No, they're trained to prescribe drugs and do surgeries. That's what doctors are trained for. Now, a dietitian, on the other hand, I don't know that much about dietitians. We actually have a dietitian at Hy-Vee that I would like to talk to sometime about some health-related diet things, in fact. And the training of a dietitian may be valuable, but even a dietitian can't know everything. And they may be wrong about things, because when dietitians are recommending animal products, that shows that they don't know enough about that it's possible to eat on just a plant-based diet. And what's very interesting is the food plate. It used to be the food pyramid years ago, and there's been several different government things, but the food plate, I think it still has 4 things. It has like one that's fruit, another that's vegetables, and I think another one was grains or nuts, and then it has another one called protein. And protein is not a separate type of food group or subcategory. All plants, to some degree, have varying levels of protein. From what I understand, grains and nuts have a lot, but so do vegetables and possibly even fruits. Who can know the nutritional content of every plant in the world? There are more plants than any human can imagine. But anyway, the point is, your doctor could be wrong about health, and your dietitian could even be wrong about health. And here's where things get interesting. A person like me and most others probably don't know who to believe. What if one doctor tells you that eating this is healthy, and another doctor says, oh, that's unhealthy, that'll cause you problems? Which doctor do you believe? If one dietitian says something is healthy, the other says it's unhealthy, which dietitian do you believe? Which standard do you use to know who is telling you the truth? Because some people lie and some people are ignorant, and they may think something is true, but it's false. So who do you believe? And should you believe anybody? Well, maybe not. In fact, I'm not even asking you to believe what I say about health. In fact, although I can tell you that veganism is healthy, it is healthier, and I can even tell you that I lost close to 50 pounds after going vegan. I was once 202 pounds. Pity I don't have any pictures from that time so I could show you the difference. Otherwise, I could prove it. But yeah, I didn't really have access to a camera years ago. But yeah, I lost a whole bunch of weight when I was 26 and I went vegan. It happened right after because giving up cheese had a lot to do with it, eating my vegetables. But anyway, so I can tell you my experience, but only you can test how something affects your health. Only you can do that, okay? And I'm going to tell you how you can do it. And this one is fairly obvious. And this doesn't work with everything, but you can try changing your diet yourself. And if somebody makes a change to their diet, if they start eating more of a food, or if they stop eating a certain food, and if they do that for a few months, they're going to feel some difference. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't really even take that long. You might even feel a difference in a matter of days. But, okay, let's just say that somebody, they decide to, and the thing is, I never actually went on any experiments. See, what happened first with me is I quit eating meat. That was the first thing. I didn't know about the dairy and eggs later, but first I quit eating meat, and I already did feel better, I mean, I didn't feel that much different, but then, I realized I was doing fine, and I wasn't eating any meat, and my strength level was the same. I was just fine, so that's good. And so if you cut something out of your diet and you feel only a small difference or no difference at all, then it probably wasn't very essential to your diet. You probably didn't need it for anything health-wise. If you notice a positive improvement, then you're probably going to be motivated to keep eating that way, whatever change you made. So if you cut out something out, or if you added something, let's suppose that and here's the thing is, you replace one thing with another. This is a great idea. Instead of eating one food, such as your meat, you could eat broccoli, eat more broccoli, or eat kale. You know what I mean? You could do that. If you don't think about when you're changing your diet, like, and people go on various different diets for different reasons. Their doctor tells them to cut out salt, or reduce sugar, and so people do that. Well, the thing is, regardless of whether that's a good idea for them or not, is not the point. The point is, people do various dietary changes, but usually only when some doctor or dietitian tells them. But regardless of what your doctor or dietitian, or even I tell you, you have to try for yourself. You have to experiment. If you try adding something to your diet, or removing it, or you start taking a medication, or you stop taking it, whatever you do, you will feel the effects of that. And the time it takes may be long or short. It might be only a few hours. It might be only a few days. It might even take a matter of months, but you'll feel the difference if you do change your diet in any way. And I think that's a fairly obvious fact. You'll notice a change if your diet changes, because you pretty much are what you eat. And if you feel healthier, if you're stronger, if you have more energy, if that, you'll feel the difference if you change your diet. And the thing is, as an example, okay, so here's the thing, is that people, they do this with sugar, and they do this with sugar substitutes. So there's a big focus on sugar, and you'll know most Americans, they consume way too much sugar. The sugar content that's in cake and donuts and cookies, and unfortunately even the peanut butter has more sugar than it should. Because I can eat peanuts just fine, and I could do peanuts with no sugar added. I can do peanut butter with no sugar added because I can eat peanuts just fine. In fact, I typically prefer salt to flavor things, but that's just my preference. Salt tastes better than sugar a lot of the time to me. I'm just weird that way. That's why I like tomato juice, I suppose. But anyway, that's the thing, and I'm trying to keep track of what I was saying. Oh yeah, but sugar. See, that's the thing, is that a lot of people know that a lot of sugar can cause diabetes. But they still don't change their sugar intake. People are addicted to sugar, and I've read that sugar is more addictive than cocaine, which is interesting. Yet I don't see anybody moving to make that sugar an illegal substance, and I'm not recommending it either, because sugar is something, it comes from a plant, regardless of whether it's cane sugar or whether you're consuming an apple. An apple has sugar, and all plants have sugar, just like all plants have protein, pretty much. Okay. But anyway, the point is, people, they consume all this sugar, and they wait until they have a problem, until they have diabetes, and then they have to control their sugar intake. And it's like, hopefully, people won't wait until it gets that late, and before they make the dietary changes they need. And when it comes to salt or sugar, those are the controversial things. Things are controversial because people will lie, and people are ignorant. So here's a common one. People say this all the time, and they say this to me. And I'm tired of being harassed about this. But people are always trying to tell me that diet soda, which I do drink diet soda, is worse than the regular soda. And people say things like, well, I would rather have the sugar than the aspartame or the sucralose. And it's interesting because different pops and different other products have different different types of sugar substitutes. And the thing is, I don't know the truth about this. I'm not even here trying to promote a particular view on whether sugar or sugar substitutes are better. But I will say this, the people who are drinking the regular pop, they're consuming high fructose corn syrup most of the time, because almost every pop has high fructose corn syrup. And here's the thing, I can't consume that stuff. Like, see, whenever I try to drink regular pop, like a regular Mountain Dew, even a small amount, I would feel ill. I can't metabolize it. You know, I just can't even do it. Like, my body doesn't take it. Whereas I've experienced no discomfort when I drink diet pop. But that isn't to make a statement on whether one is healthier or another. But I can even handle sugar better than high fructose corn syrup, and they are not the same thing. From what I've read, at least from my memory of what I've read and heard, high fructose corn syrup is not a natural product. It is a genetically modified corn sugar. It's a different type of thing, and I don't remember the specifics, but high fructose corn syrup is not the same as cane sugar or the sugar from any other plant. And even regular corn syrup from actual organic corn is not the same as high fructose corn syrup, okay? So people are so ignorant, they don't even know what's in their ingredients. And let's face it, I know more about the ingredients of most products than other people do. And why? Because I read the label on everything. Anything that has a label on it with the nutrition facts and the ingredients list, I read it. And maybe I'm the only one who reads the ingredients list on these products. And of course, fruit and vegetables don't have labels, but of course, and they hopefully won't need them. But anyway, I always look at the ingredients list. Because I'm an ethical vegan, I'm always looking for if it contains any type of meat, dairy, egg, or honey, or anything like gelatin that comes from an animal's body. And I go out of my way to avoid buying things with those substances, you know. And that's important. And see, for me, veganism is not a health thing. You might think it is because I talk about how healthy it is, but no, it's about not killing animals. And you can research veganism on your own. You have Google. You have the internet. If you're watching this video, use the internet and you know, Google veganism. Or better yet, Google Magnus Vining's book, Why We Should Go Vegan, because he laid out so much. There's plenty of good books on the health benefits and the ethical reasons. There's plenty of books, there's plenty of videos, there's documentaries, there's Earthlings, there's What the Health, there's Cowspiracy, there's Forks Over Knives. There's so many good videos that take you maybe an hour to an hour and a half to watch. And people explain so much. Documentaries are the fastest way. But if you're a book person, books are good. So research veganism on your own. And don't just take my word for it or the word of your doctor or dietitian. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions, okay? About anything I say or anything that anybody else said, no matter how many fancy degrees they have. Their opinion as a doctor or dietitian is no more valid than that of just another person, because they are a human being just like them, and they can be wrong. They can have wrong information, and they can be lying to you. So don't trust people. except maybe trust yourself. Do your own research and find out what you think is healthy or unhealthy based on what you read, based on the stuff you listen or watch. You know, and here's another tip. Look at people who eat a certain way and then notice how healthy they are. And you can often tell by looking at somebody generally how healthy they are. And people look at me and they probably think I'm healthy. And I probably am pretty healthy. I mean, after all, I'm 31 years old and people mistake me for a teenager. And the reason people think that I'm so young. I don't know if I really look like a teenager, or people might guess I'm in my early 20s, but I'm actually old. I'm actually really old. I'm 31, which is the oldest I've ever been. But that's just the thing, is that it's very important that if you look at people who are telling you that a certain food is healthy and they eat it all the time and they look like shit, maybe you don't want to believe them. You can use your own eyes on other people and see if their body, how healthy they look, how overweight or underweight they are. You can look at them and use that as a sort of a guide. But finally, most importantly, you have to experiment yourself. You have to test yourself, you know, by changing your diet and seeing how different you feel. Because if you can't trust yourself, if you can't trust your own body to tell you what is healthy or unhealthy, then who can you trust? Because when it comes to health, what you eat and how your body feels is of prime importance. Because if you have low energy and you're sick all the time and you're overweight or underweight, you know, then something might be wrong with your diet, possibly. And there are other health problems that aren't necessarily caused by diet, of course, due to other environmental factors like pollution and hormonal problems. And I've researched a lot about hormonal problems, and, you know, it's very interesting, you know, like menopausal women who have their declining hormone levels, they have all sorts of problems, you know, like headaches and hot flashes. And I've actually researched a lot about menopause recently, partly because I've been trying to help my mom. You know, she's postmenopausal and even had a hysterectomy, so she doesn't have the organs, the ovaries that normally are producing certain hormones. So that's the thing, is I've researched a lot about that. So there could be hormonal problems, there could be some virus or bacteria that made you sick. But if you have an ongoing problem, you know, you can talk to your doctor, talk to your dietitian, and they may have helpful information, possibly. I'm not saying anybody to just, you know, never talk to your doctor or dietitian, if you have one, that is. But what I am saying is that at the end of the day, only you can change your diet. You know what I mean? You have to work at it. You have to work at adding or removing things to your diet after you finally know for your, you know, changing your diet is how you know, is how you find out. Because when your doctor tells you something, or your dietitian tells you something, or some random person on the internet like me tells you something, you don't know who to believe. But after you've changed your diet, your body will tell you. Your body will tell you what the difference is. So that's very important, you know, is test yourself, do your own research, experiment with your own body, and find what helps you personally. And I think that's the best advice that anybody can give. So I think that's all I have to say about that for now. As to whether aspartame or sucralose is any better or worse than high fructose corn syrup or cane sugar, that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video was just about, you know, who do you believe about health? And the thing is, one thing I will say is, when it comes to changing my diet, I've never been persuaded by an argument that what I'm eating is unhealthy. You know, I didn't used to eat my vegetables growing up, and I never really ate vegetables. I was eating a standard American diet. I ate meat and cheese and eggs a lot, you know, and it's like, so, but if somebody had come along and told me it wasn't healthy for me, I probably would have just brushed it off because I'm too stubborn to change my ways, okay? And I am stubborn. Personally, I am very stubborn and I don't like to change. And I'm autistic, which probably has something to do with that. I'm one of the most stubborn people you will ever meet. That I can promise you. But I changed and became vegan not because I was trying to improve my health. That was a side bonus. That was a side benefit. I did it because I knew it was wrong to contribute to the killing of animals. And that's why I'm vegan. In fact, I think the only reason that I don't delete my YouTube channel and my Facebook account is because I know I'll still need them. I'm going to keep speaking and possibly keep writing about important issues like this, because I'll tell you, nothing is more important to me than reducing suffering in this world and doing my best to prevent animals, including humans, from being killed or to die because of health lies about health that they've been taught. People used to be told, even by doctors, that cigarette smoking was healthy. Now most of us know better, but doctors can be wrong, dietitians can be wrong, and hey, even I might be wrong about something I've said in this video. But even so, I think there's some good information here, and so I hope you've listened to this, and I hope I did a good job with this video, because this is a very, very important video. And I've said a lot of things here about health. And don't anybody go saying that I told you to just change your diet without talking to your doctor. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you can talk to your doctor, you can talk to your dietitian. But you have to test yourself how your body feels when you change your diet, if you change your diet. That's the thing. And that's who you should believe. I think. That's my opinion right now. Because my question was, who do I believe about health? And in the future, maybe I should do videos about who do I believe about other topics, like who do I believe about religion? Who do I believe about religion? That'd be a big one. That religion's word against that religion, you know. But anyway, this was about who do I believe about health, and it's just, that's been my thoughts that I've had for a long time, because I work in the health market. That doesn't make me an expert on matters of health and food and nutrition. But I seriously, next time somebody pesters me about what's healthy or unhealthy, I'm going to send them this video. Okay, so I've said enough.